Pleasant Productions presents the mathematics of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. Okay, kind of one of the things I kind of want to pick on here for a minute. Okay, we're talking about the illogical behavior of believing that you should limit the amount of data that's around you. Now, I do understand there's such a thing as, information overload. There's too much stuff. But the idea that you can't go out and find data should never be stopped. The fact that you have gone through such an enormous pile of data in front of you that you need to sit down, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever, and breathe a little fresh air and relax and go outside and look at the at the wind and the clouds and the leaves and the flowers and the bugs and whatever. Just get your mind off the fact that you just absorbed so much. I'm one of those people that in 1999 I read about a report that outlined how when Bush Jr. Cheney combination got into the White House, they were going to cause, they themselves being a part of it, cause a major terrorist attack on USA soil to kill a lot of citizens and get the entire country riled up to go to war in the Middle East to cause a never-ending war in the Middle East. I'm an old man, okay? See the gray hair, folks? I'm an old man. In the 1970s, I was aware of the CIA going around and telling a lot of stupid little lies about the hippies so that everybody would think that hippies were dirty, drug-infested, bug-infested, lice-infested people that had absolutely no claim to living life or freedom or, most importantly, the idea of peace. The Black Panthers were a social movement to help the homeless, the elderly, the frail. They weren't a militant group until after FBI infiltrated them and started doing the same thing you see now, where you have these people that are police officers and special agents and corporate thugs doing what the mafia would do, doing what the illegal people do, which is go into an operation and cause problems. They were called union busters 100 years ago because they would go into the unions and they would start dissension. They would do things that would cause people to get upset and mad. Okay? The CIA uses this. The FBI uses this. The NSA uses this. The Christian and Catholic churches have used it backwards. They're called Jesuits. They're an order that pretty much basically can be found in the root of every terrorist group in South Latin America, in the Pacific Ocean island areas, the Micronesia, stuff like that, all over the place. You can find all kinds of stuff about members of the Jesuits joining and being involved in military action against democracies to bring them down, or to bring whatever happens to be the government in that place down, so that something that is more friendly to the Vatican can be put in place. This happens, okay? The false flag stuff that has been going on, and if you go and you really actually look at stuff, you will start realizing that, yeah, there is actually people who were in the area of the Boston bombing, of the 9/11, of all these different attacks in recent years, and they're always there. I mean, there was actually one video that I saw there where they said, hey, if you see this woman, run for your life. She has been at every terrorist thing. And they show a series of clips and photographs where she's always a witness. She's always part of it. Okay? Now, just as you have the flat earth people running around screaming that NASA is all fake and is a bunch of Hollywood stunts, you can do the same thing with an awful lot of the terrorist attacks that have happened at least since 9/11. And you can probably go a little further back than that and find it pretty common to have the same people always around, the same type of things always happening. The problem with limiting data and the problem with not thinking is not so much that people have died. I'm not trying to in any way whitewash the idea that people didn't lose their lives. But when you have a government supporting the idea of killing people for the expressed pleasure of creating war, okay, if you go and look at the buildings falling in 9/11, and then you go and you watch a standard demolition implosion of a building, you will see the extreme similarity. If you go and you Google the number of countries that have had high-rises burn totally in flames, totally engulfed in flames, and not collapse, while the World Trade Towers were only burning on a few of the very most top levels, there was not enough fuel inside of anything burning throughout the entire buildings to cause the entire thing to collapse. Or you look at the Pentagon photographs and realize there are no jet engines laying on the ground there. There are no big pieces of fuselage or wing which would have been left from an impact by a big airplane smashing into a building. In one case, you can go online and Google it, and there's actually a person who puts an overlay of an airplane coming in at the angle that they said, and you can see the wings alone would have done much more damage to some kind of impact to the building. Okay? So something is fake, something is illegal, something is wrong, and the problem isn't that, we need to spend thousands upon thousands of hours and billions of dollars studying it. It's the fact that the American public are running around screaming, "Don't ask questions! My eyes are closed! I don't want to see! It's a conspiracy!" That's the problem. The Las Vegas shootings, okay? I heard about it late at night. I was in here, and it happened, okay? And I immediately started checking and downloading all kinds of data. There were several things that immediately worried me because, first off, this guy was supposed to do all kinds of shooting. And then there was all kinds of weird stuff, like immediately the first photographs coming up were iconic, pluck the heartstrings, American flag boots with some flowers and a little bloody bandage or something like that. I forget exactly all of the. I've got the photo somewhere, but this was the type of stuff that was going out. The kind of stuff that makes you feel, oh God, they hurt us, instead of going and looking at what really happened. If you look at the photographs that they put out of the dead shooter, you look at the ground, and the floor there, and there's, you can count how many bullet casings are on the ground. After a guy shot 500 people, killed 59, you can count the number of shell casings on the floor from a photograph? Yeah, something wasn't right. And again, everywhere I turned, people were literally screaming, and I have, several people got very insultive at me because I was actually asking questions of people. Hey, did you see this piece of footage? Did you pay attention to the fact that you are listening to a single camera and you hear some gunfire right up close, and then you hear gunfire that's way off, and it's not an echo because it's a different burst pattern, it's a different acoustics of sound. I have heard echoes, folks. I'm a nature photographer. I work in in rooms around musicians. I know what stuff is, okay? This stuff didn't make sense. And these people are getting pissed because I'm looking. Not because, there might be something wrong with what I'm looking at. They're getting pissed because I'm actually checking into it and looking into it. So that is the illogics of telling people not to look. Telling people they should limit the amount of data they let into their lives. Telling people that other stuff is fake. Don't you dare go look at it. Because you literally end up, it doesn't matter if you're looking at the photos of your wedding. You should always look at everything. You should not be afraid to look at it. Because if you are literally telling yourself you don't want to think. You just simply want a pretty picture. Okay?